Hello,
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
And
Hello.
I can hear you. Hi, Steve.
Greetings. How you doing?
Pretty good. And you?
Doing okay. So I have a question. I have long thought that this little button on the dongle for the headphones muted things.
Can't hear you.
Okay, cool. That is weird because I would swear that somebody responded to me in a Teams meeting the other day. I'm wondering if Teams just ignores it. Wonder if that's possible.
I, I don't know. I always thought that the button on this one was like a physical cutoff, like a little switch.
Yeah,
One of mine seems to behave as a volume control. And I look carefully at it, um, on the circle that goes around the center button, there's a plus on one side and a minus on the other side.
right. That changes the volume up and down, but the thing with the LED on it is also a button.
Oh,
And
yeah, I guess they're
apparently
separate.
it's a mute. Or
Oh, yeah.
Leroy was lying and just saying he couldn't hear me.
I couldn't
I've
hear you.
had that happen.
Yeah, on mine, when I push the center button, it the LED starts flashing,
Yep.
and it's a toggle. I push it again, it becomes solid. So I guess I'd never realized that they were two separate things, but they apparently are.
Yep. Now, mine, I just generic headphones, nothing special about them. I have a way to turn the speakers off and the microphone. I'm not real sure why you'd want to turn the speakers off or, the earphones off.
Somebody just walked up next to you and wants to talk.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um,
makes sense.
so when I hit this button, it actually does um mute the computer. So
Nice.
I get the actual mute from the computer. Um, but I didn't see it indicate anywhere that the microphone was actually muted. But I always thought that that was a physical thing.
It may be, and that apparently is what it is on this headset. It's a Logitech something or other cheap. I don't know. They're like $25.
Uh,
Um, I like the headset mainly because the mic is on the left side. It just fits appropriate.
This this mic's on my left, and now the mic's behind me.
yeah,
I This one will rotate 180 degrees, but then if you've got the mic in front of your mouth, you've got the right channel playing in your left ear and the left in your right ear, and
Yeah.
Clapton's behind you then.
okay.
Yeah, apparently this one will rotate that clear around too. Um,
Well, the one
Patty,
I've got is a Logitech also, and it behaves the same as you're describing.
I
Right?
Patty found this one at a garage sale. It was brand spanking new, and I thought it was just a generic headset, and I walked past it. They gave it to her for nothing. It's a USB headset. And the really, really cool part is
Hmm.
so when I pulled that out, I couldn't hear you, of course, but I can plug any set of earphones into that. I could use that for anything. I could plug that into a set of speakers. I don't know why I would, but I could.
Who makes that one?
Generic.
Uh,
There's there's no name on it at all. It's as generic as you could possibly find. It probably came from maybe Five Below, maybe. So it's probably a $10 headset. Were you able to solve your Python problem?
no, and I hate Python even more. I
I didn't even try. I mean, I already knew I wasn't going to know the answers.
so I was following a tutorial for the Pico, and it says in Thani, search in tools, search for this library and install it, and then type this and type this and type this, and it doesn't work. It turns out there are multiple libraries with the same name, and they do different things and have different methods
Yeah.
for. I think I really think that you need to know Python to learn Python. And until you know Python, you can't learn Python. It's like
Okay.
you got to plug into the matrix first and get an upload, and then you're good. It
Yeah.
just so
Pi-
now I'm trying to figure out how to get C++ to do some of the things I wanted, because at least C++ does what I expect.
Yeah. Um, well, even Arduino C does what you expect. I mean,
Hmm.
most of the time. But yeah, I kind of agree. It, it's not even so much Python, you've got to import all these libraries to do just basic stuff that you shouldn't have to import dozens of libraries just to do something
Just
basic.
just to get it to talk to a little 4 by 20 LCD.
Yeah. Yeah. But I know you remember when I was playing around with that TI robot and it's an older robot and I was just trying to get it to work on a modern system and everything. And a couple of the modern libraries did not work for it. And I had to go back to weird old wire
No,
libraries to get it to work. But, you know,
it
it
hadn't
was,
dawned on me to try an older library.
it
Hmm.
was, yeah, sometimes the old libraries work better than the new libraries. They got some other issue, but um it was all written in C. So, back then the IDE for that thing was basically a C compiler. And Arduino IDE complained about it a little bit, but it was an easy fix because I understand C. I know how it works. It's like, okay, you know, you don't like this statement anymore. Okay, fine. There, fixed. You don't like how this object's called. You're right, it's changed. So we'll change how the object's called. But it's easy. I mean, and the really nice part is, if something like that happens, if you've got an old library on a new IDE, you could usually Google it and it'll say, "Oh yeah, this this specific one little line has changed, and you go, "Oh, I don't know why they did that, but fine." Click, 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 and it's done. So now, does your Raspberry Pi Pico, does it have Wi-Fi on it, or
No, and this is one of the issues that I'll give as my fault. It's a generic, no-name $2.85 one off of AliExpress,
okay?
but I'm matching up the pins, so it should work. But yeah, in Python, I have yet to get even a single character to show on the display.
Um, have instead of looking at the um Python pinout, or the not the Python pin, the uh Pico pinout, have you
Mhm.
looked for the specific pinout for that board?
The only place it shows up is in a picture in
And
the
it's
AliExpress thing,
and
and
it's
that matches what's on the silk screen. And when
okay,
I hook an LED up and I tell it to pulse pin X, it does.
okay,
So that seems to be working. Yeah, I mean, it seems that the pins are labeled properly. So I was going with just the pin number. And that's why I was looking at the picture because why does it have multiple SCAs
right.
for I square C zero? Um, but yeah,
I
but I can get an LED to blink on those pins. And I mean, there's no interface in between the Pico and the RP2040 and the edge of the board. So it's got to be that pin.
right. No, you're probably right. I was just thinking, I know it's been a while ago, but I know I had bought a board, and I was looking at the original board, what it was based off of. And I was going, why isn't it working? Why isn't And it turns out that they had inverted some pins, and
Ah,
they had numbered them. Uh, the numbering scheme was just wacky, and they had inverted something. And I'm like, oh, well, that makes perfectly good sense why that doesn't work. So, so it was just a thought.
yeah, I'm hopeful. Um, but so the only other thing, and I don't know how to test it, is it might be that the I square C port is different. It's got the little, uh, that'll never focus. Little I square C serial backpack on the LCD. And I don't know that I'm trying to talk to the right port. So there's that too.
Um,
I was considering hooking it up to an Arduino to do the testing because I got a few of those too.
yeah. But then your LCD library is going to be different. So
That's okay. If I can get it to where something comes up on the screen,
you'll
I'll
know
know
it's
what I
working.
did wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh,
Julie,
Hi, Mike.
Surprise! It's not Julie.
oh, you showed up in the list of people that joined like late last night.
Well, I was messing around with a camera and or cameras, and I filled the trash can with crap that doesn't work.
Ah,
And ordered another camera and just hooked it up 30 seconds ago, and it's working. I didn't have to do anything other than plug it in. So
nice.
yep, big fan of Logitech cameras. I think out of 50 of them, I've had one or two that didn't just work.
well, I ordered this off of Amazon. It was a very inexpensive camera. 1080p, and it has a function where I can turn it on and off without having to fight with the mount, take it down. So the paperwork is here someplace.
Well, believe
And
it or not, my
yeah,
internal camera started working on this machine again. So
Nice.
I'm using it. Do you remember a couple of weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, when my camera defaulted to 640 by 600 by 480 or whatever it was, and I could not figure it out? I plugged it into a different USB port and it worked perfect. And I went,
Sure, it's not just a connector.
no, I have plugged it into several different USB ports. I restarted the machine, and plugged it back into the USB port that I had been using, and it started working. So my conclusion is this machine, I bought it, it was a refurbished machine, but it's got USB problems. It randomly decides to limit what the USBs can do. And I'm not real sure why. But for now, my camera's working, and it's been working for 3 days now. So
Nice. Might be time to start trying to flex the board and see if it's a cold solder joint or not.
could
I had a
be.
machine that ran for, oh shoot, probably 8+ years that had a big wad of paper underneath the CPU. It was a Sony Vaio, and without that there, it would just occasionally restart. And I found out that if I was pushing down on the outside edges of the laptop case, it'd stay running. So that led to opening it up and just trying to move things and see if I could force it to restart. And it
Hmm,
did when I lifted up on the CPU socket. So,
interesting. Well, some,
nothing like stuffing in a piece of paper where it doesn't belong.
yep.
well, I I just did all the updates last night, and the new kernel, maybe the new kernel is fixing issues with USB or whatever. I don't know. But it is kind of weird. My little stupid update manager keeps saying that it's trying to download, and it has been stuck there like that for a day and a half. And I could go to the CLI and just type update, and it tells me if there's updates or not. So something broke somewhere. Something got fixed and something broke. That's normal for me. Uh, so anybody got anything new going on?
I got an injection in my left hip on Tuesday, and my continuous glucose monitor is not able to read my blood sugars because it's got them over the top.
Mm,
And I've been giving myself injections every 4 hours for, I don't know, for 2, 3 days.
Are you doing manual finger sticks?
Uh, Well, it doesn't matter. It is what it is. I can't take any higher doses of insulin than what I'm taking. And it's making me goofier.
That's why I'm thinking maybe you ought to do the finger stick and moderate the insulin.
Well, I'm maxed out on how much I can do of the rapid acting insulin. The pharmacist has limited me to, I'd have to look on my phone. I have a sliding scale. I'm doing the max every 4 hours. So we know this is the case. That's why I've done left hip, right hip, broken it up. Other than that, no.
Uh, my mom just had a cataract removed. That was fun. She got a little loopy.
Actually, I've had them removed from both eyes, and I have to say, I was I was nervous the first time around, thinking, here's somebody with a scalpel cutting into my eyeball.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to tell you, it was such, I've had dental procedures that were a lot more, um, you know, difficult than that. And when I had the second one, I didn't have them done at the same time. When
No.
I had the second one about a year later, it was just like going in and getting your teeth cleaned. It
Yeah.
was a nothing procedure.
That's that's pretty much how mom's was. She had one done a year ago, and she was there for a couple hours. This time they took her right in and, you know, numbed her up and cut her eye up, put the new lens in, and sent her on her way. It was
You know,
if she was there for 45 minutes, I would be surprised. She wasn't there for at all for very long.
they had a regular production facility where I went, and uh, 25 minutes after we left, we were sitting at a restaurant, and I was able to read the menu. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, that's she walked out the door and said, "I can see." Oh, okay.
Did you notice that the vibrancy of colors was increased?
Um, there was a shift from yellowish to a bluish, and apparently that's fairly standard with cataracts. Is that the one of the things that happens is not only does the lens get cloudy, but it yellows a
Yep.
little bit, and that's what I noticed. When my dad had his done, that was the same thing that he observed. Is that there was a shift from yellowish to bluish, um, and that's just a matter of resetting the background. And in a few days, your eye gets, or your brain, I guess, is doing the processing. It gets used to it, and then seems like it was always that way. Anyway, the answer is there was a color shift. Now, I don't know if that includes the vibrancy that you're talking about, or something else.
Well, I noticed that everything was just kind of a dull color. It's like changing the settings on a TV from one to vibrant. The colors were just a little sharper.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. If you've got a cloud there and the cloud goes away, it would seem that way.
Yeah, you're not looking through a fog anymore. You're looking through
You know,
Yeah,
clear. But
the thing
yeah,
that
and
I miss is I had like 6 diopter correction before I had the cataracts removed, and they replaced them. So I can see at a distance uh, anything further away than my feet. I don't need glasses or anything for. But in the olden days, if I wanted to see something, I just bring it right up here, like an inch and a half away, and I can't do that. It's like the closest I can get them without
Be
corrective.
right back.
Yeah,
well, when I had it done, I had a choice of having the lenses put in so that they would be like reading glasses or distance glasses. So I opted to go with the distance glasses, that set of lenses, and that worked great. And I use reading glasses when I'm looking at stuff that's closer in. At any rate, that's my experience.
I
It turned out it was essentially a nothing operation, if you will. It really,
I know this isn't quite the same, but you were talking about brightness and vibrancy. When I got my new glasses not too long ago, the world definitely was brighter. I'm not real sure what changed because my prescription didn't change by much, but it took it was making me sick. The world was so bright, it was making me sick. It took, a week before everything kind of settled down and my brain got used to now everything looks dull again. So, but I know that's not quite the same as 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 getting cataracts done, but there's definitely something weird that the docs can do. So, um,
well, they've gotten the procedure, cataract removal procedure down to where it is really kind of a
it's
ho hum kind of an
yeah,
operation.
yeah. Well,
Uh,
it's 15 minutes if it's that long, unless there's some weird issue that they have. And that's what the nurse came in and told her. You're going to be in there for like 15 minutes unless you're having some sort of weird seizure or something. And she said, and you've already done this once, so you're going to be in and out. They're going to do what they need to do, and we're going to send you on your way home. Okay, good. I didn't want to sit at the doctor's office all day long anyway. You know,
well, what they told me though was that I had to have somebody to drive me home,
yeah, that's why I was there
and
because,
I don't know. I assume that's just a very conservative. Uh, um,
well, they they did drug her up a little bit. So, and they did want somebody to stay with her to make sure she wasn't having any kind of reaction to the drugs. But other than that, I think that's really why they want somebody to drive because she walked out and said I can see just fine. And I I I think it's because they drug you up and you're still under those drugs for a little while.
so this was her second one.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Her first one, I I seem to remember sitting at the doctor's office for 2.5, 3 hours for her first one. And like I said, if she was there for 45 minutes, I would be surprised on this one. I mean, they got her in and out. Um, you know, the it went very, very smooth, and the nurse explained everything that she needed to do, don't get it wet for 48 hours or whatever, and do this and come back for the follow-up tomorrow. And you can drive tomorrow, you just can't drive today. And wear that plastic eye shield for uh, a week, I think is what they told her. But it was the one that they gave her uh, a year ago was solid, and this one was clear. She could see right through it. So um, it, different different experience. Um, she did say something about I guess last year she had already selected for distance, and I guess she could have selected for reading or whatever, but uh, so real Cincinnati Eye Institute's really good with what they do.
Yep.
Um,
Well, this doesn't relate directly, but about 38 years ago, I had a bowel resection, and I was relating to a woman I was in graduate school with about the experience. And she told me the story about the guy who had these just incredibly debilitating migraine headaches. And he had tried for years and years to get rid of them. And they finally said the only way you're going to get rid of those is if you are castrated. And he was so frustrated by the incapacity of the headaches, he agreed to it. And about a week later, he's in buying underwear. He goes up to the counter, and the guy behind the counter says, those are 32s. You wear at least a 34. I can just see. And the guy says, I've already worn a 32. Because no, you wear a 34. If you buy your underwear too small, it gives you terrible headaches.
Okay.
So she
oopsie,
is telling me I didn't need a bowel resection. I just need to buy different size underwear.
oopsie. Uh,
On a not at all related note, robot's doing its thing.
oh, cool.
Say that again, please.
I've got a Segway Navimo, and it's out in the front yard mowing right now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and it's doing a good job. I still need to find a way to automate the side gate. Um, I know how I'm going to do it. I just need to actually sit down and wire up some stuff.
So it can't get from the front to the back without a manual intervention at this point.
Right. And it takes 2.5 battery charges to do the front yard. So that's more walking out front than I want to do.
So your charger is in the back.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't want the thing to be sitting in the front yard all the time. Um, I mean, I have a great faith in my neighbors, and I always leave my car unlocked, and there's probably $15 worth of change in it. I've been here 5 years, and nobody's ever taken a nickel as far as I can tell. But yeah, not going to leave a $700 robot out front.
Where do you live, Steve?
for change.
I'm messing. Uh, Vicente's here.
Huzzah.
Uh,
Um, does the it probably does. Does that robot have anti-theft on it?
It does.
Yeah,
And uh, from what I've read, if somebody does steal it, they can't join it to their network or their phone until I unjoin it, which I'd have no reason to do.
right.
Um,
Yeah. it- Now, of course, mine was pre-connected to everything, but it had anti-theft in it, and I don't know if it actually would have worked because I think it you needed to like type a code into it,
mhm.
and it was only like a 4-digit code. I think eventually you could hit the right code.
My kids were that persistent.
Yeah. Um, Now, without the charger, mine would have become pretty useless pretty quickly, but you know, and without the wire around because mine was bounded by wire, without the wire around it, it really would have been pretty useless. Chuck Mangione.
Steve, I remember you saying that you had mapped your property lines and it would keep track of where it was based on internal mapping.
Yes. Yeah,
That's
it's got two antennas and it knows where it is in relation to the second antenna, which is mounted on a post in the backyard within half an inch, which is pretty darn impressive.
yeah,
And it's very bright about getting stuck. If it runs into a divot in the yard, it'll back out of it, go around it, and try to come at it from another angle. So, I mean, it does get everything mowed. The backyard looks beautiful because it's been doing that every other day for a month now. I'm just getting it out to the front yard because I couldn't even open the side gate. There was too much grass growing up around it. I had to dig out part of the soil to get the gate to open. So now, yep, it's doing the front yard and should be about ready to go back to recharge here shortly. Yeah, it's 33% charge and 92% of the way done with the front yard. So might be able to finish.
Cool. See, mine wasn't that smart. Mine
what?
was just a big Roomba out in the yard.
Yeah, I like the ones where there's a post driven in the ground with a cylinder around it, and the mower just winds itself around the
Mhm.
post.
I've done that. I had a little self-propelled push mower that honestly was off balance because of the handle. So I just took that off and had three three pieces of conduit in a triangle. And yeah, it worked really well. That was a very flat piece of property.
But how did you deal with the corners?
Didn't do corners.
Oh,
I could move the pipes around and get 90% of the lawn in rounds. So it worked. That was up in Wisconsin. That was so long ago.
so
Yeah. Joni Mitchell says she dreams of 747s over geometric fields. So all of those central watering points out there in Kansas, your yard would stick out in the neighborhood as being
Mhm.
Look at that.
Hmm.
I've got too much crap in too many different places. I biggest diameter I think I could probably get would have been 10 feet, which is hardly worth it.
Yeah, that's a lot of moving around. I had a fire pit in the middle of a 50-foot diameter circle, and I hated mowing that. And it would do the entire thing. Even auto shut off when it got into the end of the rope, had a little kill switch on it.
Grass mowing is one of the lowest priorities in my life.
Yeah,
You could always affix an RC uh, controller, an RC receiver onto your mower, drive it around like that.
It's a rear bagger, so you gotta stop and empty it.
Eh,
that's just another channel on the RC.
yeah.
Get that up and put it in the trash can.
You throw out grass clippings? Oh, send them this way. I
You
got a
know,
compost pile.
We got a compost pile too. Well, it's actually a composter, big rotating cylinder.
Mhm.
if that little RC tank that you gave me was a little bit bigger, it probably would make a good lawnmower.
Yeah,
I think it would need to be at least double, maybe even triple the size of what what it is. But if you had a very, very tiny yard, it would do good.
right after I got out of the Army, I went to California to visit a friend that I had been in the Army with, Ralph Cooper. He lived in San Clemente, and I ended up living in San Clemente for a while. But I ended up working for his dad, who owned a 9-unit apartment building 2 rows back from the beach. It was very nice.
Yeah.
And one of my jobs was to mow the grass, and he had a 32-inch riding mower for a triangle of grass that was 10 feet on a side. It was crazy. It took longer to mow the grass on that mower than it would have with just a weed whacker.
When we lived out in Hamilton, literally the front yard was a strip of grass. And the robot was in the backyard. And I didn't want to drag that thing out to the front every time, so that's pretty much how it was mowed with a weed whacker. Just done. There's a I just put a link in the chat for converting I think it's Ryobi and a jazzy uh jazzy wheelchair and turning it into an RC lawnmower. I think it's a Ryobi. It might, I don't know if it's looks like it's but that might be interesting for somebody.
Thing's pretty quick.
An electric push law. Those jazzies are fast. Hattie always, she never liked it when I bought those things, but I always wanted them for the motors and stuff. And I never really was able to ever get a project done. They sat in storage forever, and then I got rid of them.
That's like the hospital beds that I have picked up off of Craigslist. They have great mechanics, screw drives, and controls, and they're in the attic.
Yep, but you can't get rid of them because
Oh, well,
eventually
they're too
one
damn good to
day,
get rid of.
you're gonna need that screwdriver for something.
You can't daydream without that screwdriver in the attic.
You know those lift chairs? Um, my grand, I don't know, Lazy Boy, I think made them, but they had you hit a button and they would raise you up and help you.
Oh, yeah, lift chairs.
The lift chairs. Those things have huge screwdrivers in them, huge motors, and I couldn't find any good use for those either. We had to get rid of those. But yeah, um, I kept a couple of the scooters for a while. I was carrying them around in the trunk of the car, and Patty kept going, "We can't put groceries back there. We can't do this. We can't do that. Why are you keeping these?" Because I want the motors. I want the parts. She eventually made me get rid of all that stuff.
They
I'm so
do that.
I'm so sad.
I got an email the other day from my sister-in-law in California. The couple had been married for 45 years. And he said, "Yeah, we first were married. You were a youngster. We didn't have any money. We were living in a crappy apartment with a shitty car. But it was fun sexually. And I don't think you're keeping up your end of the bargain." And she said, "Well, if you find a new 21-year-old woman, I will guarantee you will be living in a crappy apartment with a piss poor car, and I'll hold up my end of the bargain."
Well, probably something to that.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that Patty didn't give you the ultimatum of you can get those damn things out of the car, or I'll get them out of the car and you as well.
Uh, Hattie's never actually threatened to leave or anything like that. But it's real clear when she when she's not happy about all the junk that I have accumulated.
Uh,
Are you ever going to do anything with this?
Well,
Maybe.
the phrase Julie uses is, "I would really like it if."
Yeah.
It it isn't worded as a threat, but the implication is clear.
I yeah.
Kind of related. George Carlin. My shit is stuff and your stuff is shit.
Yep. Yeah, I actually got that one the other day. Uh, what are you going to do with? But my stuff is good stuff. Your stuff is just stuff. I mean, you know, Patty collects like I should talk. I've got 500 Batmobiles. Patty collects pencils. She's got like 3,000 pencils. She wants more, and I'm like, what are you going? You don't do anything with these pencils. And she goes, you can't talk. You've got like 500 Batmobiles that you don't do anything with. Well, yeah, but it's my stuff. That's that's my thing. It's the
So
same. It's the same thing. I mean,
my nephew worked as a VP of technology for an engineering company in Kansas City. And one of the engineers, they're like vagabonds. They move from place to place like gypsies. When that project's done, they go to another project. And he's at work relating to the fact that he's got a 65 fastback Mustang that he's going to have to get rid of because he'd had it in the garage for 10 years and never done anything with it. And his wife said, I'm out scraping ice off of my car every morning in Kansas City, and I am not going to do that when we move to a new house. Get rid of the car. So he and my other nephew, they're cousins, went out to take a look at the car. When one nephew had given him $500 for it, which I thought was a steal. And they said, you didn't bring a tow truck or a trailer or anything. They said, well, we figured we'd take a look at it before we did anything. And they farted around in about 15 minutes and drove it home. And there was great discord in the engineer's home that evening.
When
before
I
we,
was
oh,
They use a remote starter.
hmm,
when I was 16 or 17, I was just driving around on my motorcycle and saw a old car in a field. It was a 1926 Chevy something, I don't remember what. And I knocked on the door. It was a big farm, knocked on the door. I'm like, "Hey, what do you want for that thing?" He's like, "Oh, that thing's probably all rusted out. If you can get it out of there, you can have it." Really? So I go back and I'm looking at it. I could turn the engine over by hand. It was all 6-volt electrical. So I ran it through one full rotation, didn't see any water coming out of any of the cylinders or anything. Like, yeah, we'll give this a try. Went home, got a 6-volt battery off of the tractor. We had this ancient old case, a can of gas, and a couple of tools. Went back out there. I was able to get that thing started in about an hour. And he came out and thanked me for that and wouldn't let me drive it off the property. I was pissed.
mm,
Oh, oh, broken promises.
Yeah, we had it was a really cool air compressor. You'd take out a spark plug, put it in the cylinder, and it had a I don't know, 20-foot hose on it. It'd reach all the tires on the car, start the engine up, inflate it using the engine as an air compressor. It worked surprisingly well. And the tires were all holding air, but I seriously doubt they would have for more than about 2 miles.
mm. Do you know where the VW graveyard is near Athens?
No.
I don't know if it's still there, but I used to own like 2 or 3 VW Bugs, and I had a Gia for a while. Um, that I got surprisingly cheap, and one of my buddies, he owned a bunch of Bugs, and he ended up buying the Gia from me because it needed some work. Basically, it needed an interior. But we drove out to the VW graveyard, and basically, there's 50, 75 VW bugs sitting in like a forest um, out there. You could go out there. The guy owns the land. He'll sell you any of the parts off of any of them. Doesn't know a thing about any of them. I'm not real sure how he started this collection, but you could go out there and you could spin the if the engine would spin, it would start right up. There, those VWs had probably been sitting there for 20 years when I knew about them, and they were all rusted to all get out. None of them were, but if you needed an engine part and you could go out there and spin that engine, almost guaranteed it was going to work on your bug. Almost guaranteed because the bug's such a simple engine. If it would spin, it would start.
Yep.
So, um, neat place. Like I said,
Athens,
yeah, it
Athens,
was
Ohio or Texas?
Ohio.
Oh, because I found there's one in Athens, Texas also.
Neat. Yeah, it's not really an advertised thing. If you had a bunch of bugs or if you were a part of that circle of people, you would know that it was out there. If you were a car person, you probably would know it was out there. It's not really it, the guy doesn't really advertise that he sells parts or anything. We just my buddy knew about it. He drove down there one day and started talking to the guy. And the guy said, "Yeah, whatever you need, it's probably out there somewhere." We spent we went out there one day and we probably spent 5 or 6 hours out there just rummaging through stuff and you know getting the old VW emblems and you know he had a couple of square backs out there and some other stuff that you just don't find anywhere. Uh,
They were a very simple vehicle.
yeah, and well, they were so simple I could work on them. So I
I
under
always
I
I always
understood them.
thought it was cool that the uh, washer fluid was pressurized from the spare tire.
Yep.
Yep.
I was impressed that you could go into Kmart and buy cylinder head gaskets and push rod tubes. The things that commonly went bad on a V-dub were available at Kmart.
Yep.
I
Well,
remember buying a set of pistons and heads from J.C. Whitney for $220 when I had a valve snap off and puncture a hole in a piston. And that was all it cost. Everything else was just done by hand. Made sure we had all the bits of valve and all the bits of piston and put another, good Lord, probably 80,000 miles on that bug. That's what I learned how to drive a standard in.
well, I yeah, and you could go and get the Haynes manual for it and all this, everything was documented about how to work on these cars and everything. And, you know, you didn't need fancy tools to do anything.
Except to just the valve lash.
Yeah.
that took an odd little tool that I still have if anybody ever needs it.
A Carmen Gia right there in the front.
And a Vanagon, a couple of Vanagons.
Yeah.
Where
in
is that
Cambridge,
Athens?
Ohio.
Cambridge, okay.
Uh-huh.
Cambridge, it's got to be near Athens. We were close to Athens. That doesn't really look like the same place because the place we were at was all woods. We were
Okay. These Cambridge places.
What year is it in Cambridge?
Well, it looks like it's got an interstate running close to it, so it's
Hmm.
after the 50s.
Cambridge is up near Salt Fork Park.
Due east of Columbus, about 45 miles.
Yeah, it's nowhere near Athens.
So halfway between Columbus and Newark, Ohio. There's a lot of people that have a yard full of V-dubs, apparently.
Well, how many have been made worldwide? Like 20 million or 30 million? I forget. It's a phenomenal number.
Yeah, many.
Must be
I
somewhere
thought they were still manufacturing them in Brazil.
in Brazil.
They were manufacturing them in Mexico up until about 1995, I think. I don't know if anybody else took up the mantle after that, but yeah, 95.
Yeah, yeah.
And
They were
they
using like,
had,
oh, go ahead.
sorry, they had spare parts and they were manufacturing a motorcycle in Brazil called the Amazonian. If you ever get a chance, look that up. It looks kind of like a Honda, uh, oh, the big gold thing, Goldwing, except it's just bigger in all dimensions. It uses a, a Volkswagen engine and a Volkswagen transmission that they welded the differential gears on and just bolted a sprocket on
Uh,
one side of it. It's just, it has a Volkswagen master cylinder on the handlebars as the brake cylinder. This was a production motorcycle. They made hundreds of them. The police used them.
That doesn't really surprise me too much because V-dubs were, I mean, they were just such an easy engine to work on.
Yeah.
I mean,
A friend of mine had a dune buggy, little sandrail that had a mid-engine Volkswagen on it. And if you just turn the engine around, you've got four gears in reverse. But if you pull off both sides of the differential, turn the engine around and plug it back in, you're back where you had been. And it's now a mid-engine vehicle. Yep, that's an Amazonian. Amazonas. Uh,
yeah, it's huge.
it is.
oh
Though
yeah.
that doesn't have the Volkswagen master cylinder. It actually looks a little smaller. 1600 cc's. What is that in cubic inches?
Yeah, it used the V12
115?
engine.
Yeah.
Motorworks production until 1988.
100 cubic inches almost.
Yeah.
with a top speed of 82 miles an hour. That's hilarious.
Top speed.
87. Okay.
Is
And terrifying.
for speed, then right. Let's see pictures. Uh, this is-
I remember when it came out, um,
That,
Road and Track had an article on it, and they showed somebody sitting on it, and it must have been a very small person because it was just so out of scale.
okay.
that black one right there looks pretty big.
Yeah.
That white one looks pretty big. My buddy he had stuck a Porsche engine in his VW. Um, that was his thing. He pulled a Porsche engine out and stuck in his. And I knew a guy who had he stuck a Chevy small block in the front of his V-dub. And I was like, okay. Porsche engines. Oh. I had a 74 VW Beetle that I had painted it was orange when I bought it, and I painted it baby blue and didn't know what I was doing. It didn't put clear coat on it or anything, and it faded over time. Then we moved then I joined the service, and I'm not real sure what happened to my first car, but while I was down in Norfolk, I found a guy who was selling a VW Bug relatively inexpensive, and I went, these things are great, they're fun. So I went and bought it, and it turns out it was a baby blue VW Bug. It was a 74, and it was orange originally, and they had painted it without clear coat. I was like, "Oh, I'm home."
Sorry. Had to let the mower in. And then the dog ran out, so I got to go let her back in a little bit.
That's all right. Yeah. Yeah, I remember you used to be able to find people, farmers and whatever, that had VWs sitting in their yard, and you could get them cheap. Now they're all expensive. Everybody wants money for their old VWs. I've got somewhere.
When was the
The
last
Midland.
year that Volkswagen in the
What?
United States? What was the last year, the most recent year that they made Volkswagen convertibles in the United States?
Uh,
Cabriolet, probably about 85. Well, they never made them in the US. They were imported and modified, but yeah, I think about 85.
About 6 years ago, I was in California and I rented a Volkswagen Beetle convertible. It didn't seem that old. Um, it seemed like 3 or 4 years.
Was it one of the new Beetles with the engine in the wrong place?
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
I I don't count those. They had awful electrical systems in the new Beetle. They had a lot of issues with those things.
yeah.
If you got one that ran well, one of the new Beetles, keep it. Um, they're they're built well. They weren't built as well as the original Beetle, but they're pretty good. I knew somebody that had a turbo that was pretty impressive. I like the flame job.
That's that's the one that I think had the Porsche engine in it.
Could be their Porsche wheels.
Yeah. Um, this guy, this is one of my one of the computer shops that I had, and this guy lived upstairs, and I parked around back, and we got into a conversation about VW bugs because we both owned them, and he became, you know, a great a great source for information and to get parts and whatever. But I thought I had a picture of, I don't see it. I thought I had a picture of the Schwimmwagen, um, which was like the military thing.
The
Um,
Kubelwagen.
they called it a Schwimmwagen at this show, but I don't have it. I don't.
Okay, tell me about the Bonneville.
The,
67 Triumph Bonneville.
Okay, are you guys seeing me sitting on a Triumph?
Yep.
mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm a little behind the times on motorcycles, but that's as close as I can get to a motorcycle picture of me.
I've only got pictures of 3 or 4 on my bikes and none with me on them because I took the pictures. Good Volkswagen video I just sent a link of. One of the stupidest things I ever saw, and I want one.
Okay.
A gooseneck trailer. Oh, really? Attaching that thing? Oh, what?
Do you trust the gutters on your Volkswagen that much?
No, maybe. Nice.
Oh, oh,
Nice. Nice.
oh.
Oh.
People built so many things for V-dubs. Some of them they shouldn't have.
You know what's actually amazing about that is how well it actually works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. No, absolutely. I would not do that to my car. Look at how
Nice.
low the back end
Yeah.
is. Oh,
So let's see. Stock of VW does 0 to 60 in what, 73 seconds?
something like that.
Pulling that thing, what do you think your top speed is and how long does it take to get there?
Oh.
We talking uphill or downhill?
I would say 2 minutes to top speed and maybe 45.
Yeah. How many seconds though until you say quickly dries my brown trousers?
Wow.
I didn't realize it had that in it. I had just seen the ad before.
Completely
This
destroy it.
is this guy going to try to
To fix it?
Resurrected.
resurrect it?
That's pretty rough.
Wow. It's still kind of amazing how well it actually did work. You better stop the stream because we don't want to get a content strike for using somebody else's video.
Go faster.
I can just imagine that thing sitting in your backyard and running into that tongue. It'd be right in the middle of your forehead.
Yep,
Ooh,
Yep.
it's pretty.
I love moon discs. I wish I could find a set for my car.
Uh,
They're starting to make them for semis now.
Itching.
it's pretty.
Got $4,000 worth of balsa wood in it.
Oh, I found the Schwimm wagon. I found a picture of the Schwimm wagon. Here, we gotta stop this. That's the Gia. You don't want to see the Gia. Everybody's seen the Gia. What am I doing? I guess it really isn't. It really isn't like a thing.
Oh,
Yeah. Little outboard could drive on both the land and the
Water.
water.
Nice.
Look at how many V-dubs were there. Ias and all
But how
kinds of
many of
stuff.
them have an M60 machine gun mounted on
I think that was the only one.
them?
That's the Gia I got with no interior.
That's cool.
Paid $500 for that sucker. Um, I basically I bought it for my buddy because he didn't have $500 at the time. But I owned it for about a week before he came back and gave me the money for it. So,
I have fond memories of that time when you could buy a used vehicle cheap. I've had a lot of cars that were under $200.
yeah. Well, this guy who owned it even brought it and dropped it off for us. I mean, it was such a good time.
I
Um,
bought a Triumph Spitfire once. I was just looking through the newspaper and saw 72 Triumph Spitfire for sale. And I just wanted to see it. So I called the guys. Do you still got this thing? Yeah. And it was like less than 5 miles away. Can I come take a look? Sure. So I go to this guy's house and he's got the engine disassembled. It had just come back from, I don't remember, one of the companies in Cincinnati that does engine rebuilds. And it had been ground and polished and new pistons. And I mean, he's got $2,000 in just the engine. And it was, it had some body work done on the, the body. It needed an interior. And I'm looking at it going, damn. So I said, what do you want for it? He said, make me an offer. I'm moving out of state. I can't take it with me. Make me an offer. I said, dude, all I've got in my account right now is $300. He said, sold. I went,
oh,
what? Uh,
Wait.
okay. This was 93 or 94. So, I mean, at the time, a Spitfire was worth, in running condition, $1,000. This one wasn't in running condition, but it didn't take long to get it back to that point. And I got it for
Oh,
$300.
um,
And dude put it on a truck or on a trailer and delivered it to my house for that.
for that. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's
And
this VW meet was clear down in Cincinnati, and we live in Middletown. It I was shocked. The guy was like, "Yeah, I'll just bring it to you. Do you got a trailer? No. Well, okay, I'll just bring it to you. Okay, here's some money. You just let me know when you're leaving the meet, and I'll follow you up there." He was there. He was there at that meet specifically to sell that car. But um,
it had a bunch of, Victoria British. It had a bunch of new parts from Victoria British, which is in Lenexa, Kansas. And all they sell is Triumph and MG stuff.
that is not mine. That's that's the VW that I bought when I was down in.
Was orange.
Yeah, that was orange, and I bought that down in Norfolk when I was in the service, and that's one I just saw driving down the road because I was fascinated by V-dubs. That's the baby blue one is the one that looked identical to the one that I repainted that was also orange. That I have no idea what happened to it. I have no idea what happened to that V-dub. I think that one was in a wreck. Good times though. Good times. V-dubs were fun to drive.
Looks like Victoria British closed in 2020. and now they're owned by Moss Motors, and they have TR7 and TR8 parts. Hmm, damn. Drive shaft for a TR7, $200. It's not bad. Ooh, bare cylinder head for a TR8, $800. So the difference between the TR7 and the TR8, the TR7 was an inline four, 2 liters, 2.2 liters, if I remember right. Um, Dual carburetors. It was a nice, simple to work on car. The TR8 was the exact same body, a little wedge-shaped thing with a 230 cubic inch Buick V8 in it, an all aluminum V8. Buick tried for years to get that thing to work and they couldn't. They were doing sand casting and just couldn't get five in a row to come out of the casting process. They sold the rights to it to British Leyland. British Leyland went to a high pressure casting process and was able to make the things, and they started selling them back to Buick and to all the members of British Leyland, the Triumph and Jaguar and um, Range Rover, and somehow Range Rover broke them. But yeah, a TR8 was a TR7 with an extra 145 horsepower. Pretty impressive. I only know where one TR8 is still at that's in good running condition, and that's at the Lane Motor Museum in Nashville,
Mm,
Tennessee. And if anybody ever gets a chance to go to the Lane Motor Museum, I strongly recommend it.
yeah, I hear really good things about that museum. They've got a lot of weird cars.
Well, they specialize in small cars, um, but they have one car that's big enough to put like 30 or 40 cars in.
Oh, that's cool. You need really big cars.
Um,
I have no idea why I'm showing you my old Dodge van. I owned an old Dodge van that was absolute junk. It was uh carpet. People
I can
used
smell
to,
it from here.
yeah, people used to haul carpet around in that thing. That's the Dodge van that every time you'd hit the brake lights, it would blow like six fuses. Every time, every single time. So you don't drive it at night because nobody would ever see you. Um,
there's a link for Lane Motor Museum. And here's the big one.
oh, nice. Oh yeah, I've seen pictures of that somewhere.
And they have cars for sale, including one that is pretty impressive.
I think we ought to get a road trip up and go down there one day,
I'm all in favor.
one weekend or whatever.
Well, I'm up for it as long as we take a Volkswagen with a trailer mounted on the top.
Okay. Yeah. They're pretty reasonably priced too. $15 per person.
First time I went there, it was $3 a person.
Well,
Yeah.
considering considering the times we live in, 15 doesn't sound horrible. Considering all the cars they've got.
Okay, this one is hilarious. In case you were wondering whatever happened to American Motors Corporation.
Okay, somebody's echoing.
Yeah,
I don't know
I'm
who.
hearing that also.
I don't think it's me.
No, I think
Not that time.
I think it's might
Art,
be Ray.
Art, Art is the sound technician of the group.
Uh, what is this? What? Mighty Might 1960. That the okay. Interesting. I did not know that Lane had airplanes, so
Yeah, that's mostly new. There's one specific ultralight aircraft that I have been looking for years. It was called a swing wing. And there's another thing now called the swing wing, but it's different. This one was effectively a flying wing with two pegs that stuck out of the front of the out of the leading edge of the wing, and suspended under that was a swing seat. And you'd put these two pegs in your armpits and hold it up and start jogging, and it would get airborne. It had an engine on it, and then you'd sit on that little swing. And it was cheap. The kit was like $3,200. That included the engine. And apparently it killed a lot of people because they stopped making them, but I still want one. I would try to see if it could lift my fat posterior up still. It looks like they're in a new building here. This doesn't, they were in a company that started out as a bakery. They made bread there, and one of their tiny vehicles was a bread delivery van from
mm,
that bakery. This seems to be in a different place. Or maybe they got a second building. There were a couple of buildings around them. Um, Contact 702 Murfreesboro. That sounds the same. It's been a long time since I was there.
yeah, I knew more or less where they were at. I didn't really know where they were at. In other words, I was aware of them. But other than that, I really don't know much. I knew they had a lot of interesting, weird, and rare cars.
Yeah, it looks right. It's right off of 24 in the railroad track. There was a really good rib place right down the road. Texas world famous barbecue. Still there. Hmm. Okay, how long would it take me to drive there? 4 hours and 22 minutes
Yeah, I was gonna
going through
say
Louisville.
it can't be all that bad.
I've driven further than that for a pizza.
Okay. I haven't gone quite that crazy.
Buddy's Pizza in Chicago.
You could you could make a day trip out of this. Be tired by
Oh,
the time we get home.
yeah, that'd be a long, long day because I want to spend hours at
Yeah,
Lane.
How
like
far is the drive?
it
290 miles
it's
from
four
here, from
hours.
my place. Might be 5 hours for you, Ray.
Yeah,
Four,
it's pretty.
yeah, it's closer to
That
five
day.
hours. It's yeah, couple days. Go down over on the weekend or something. Or start off like at midnight the morning and go down there and wait for him to open the door and then drive back home at midnight. It's still a day trip. And when I was 20, I would have done something like that.
It's not so bad. Should start off at like 3:30 a.m. though.
Yeah,
Get there at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. Like
got
you
to,
said, enjoy the meal, look around.
yeah. Yeah, 300 miles isn't bad. That's that's a that's a good trip. Get
Well,
down.
I need to get something to eat, so I'll see you folks next week.
Oh no. Okay. Bye. Speaking, that's a good thing for an lead way into next week. You're still going to be around, Ray, next week?
I think so.
And we're
I
still
really
and
do
we're
think
still
so.
doing the oscilloscope thing next week.
Yeah, I'm planning on it.
Okay.
I'm gonna get my stuff. Now, somebody, I could bring a waveform generator also, so we can see what stuff
Yep.
looks like.
Yeah, we're going to need at least a waveform generator. Um I was thinking about bringing maybe an Arduino to do uh PWM or something on it.
I mean, I have an arbitrary waveform generator from Regal, and they create a lot of different stuff.
Okay.
I haven't looked at like which kinds of PWM to do. We'll do like an RC style.
Well,
But yeah, if you would program something on a Arduino for like a RC PWM, that'd be nice.
I'll do something. Maybe make a little Kanabi or something so we could adjust the PWM. But
Yep.
yep. So next week is O scope. We're gonna have O scopes. And oscopes, I actually have one, so I might actually be able to show off my oscope that I don't use.
I have
Finding
3,
out.
but I'm only bringing 1.
Yeah. Do what, Ray?
I was going to ask what kind do you guys have? I want to bring the same one.
Um, honestly, I don't remember what brand mine is. Um, it's it's still pretty much brand new in the box, though. I've only used it a couple of times.
I think I've got a Handtech, a Tektronix, an OON, a Regal. There's this other brand. I can't remember what the name right now. I used to have
That's
a
cool.
Vector tool.
I think you've seen my oscope from a couple years ago. I bought it at Micro Center. They were clearancing them out, and they finally got down to a price that I went, somebody's going to buy that, and it was me. And
I've got a Regal that's been software modified. So I
1052E.
I don't remember. I thought it was pronounced Rigel though.
Um, I don't know exactly how it's pronounced. I know that they have a booth across from me when we go to or it used to be across from us when we went to the state convention, and those guys pronounced it very good. So
Yep, they would probably know.
I'll go with you guys know what it is. So uh,
my oscope looks like a Regal or a Rigel, but it's not. I know it's not a. I know it's not that brand. It's something else. Um, so
I
it's
gave
also
you I gave
maybe
you an
the O.
oscilloscope
you
several
what?
years ago.
Yeah,
I gave you one oh,
I've still got that one too.
Omron, I don't remember the name.
It was it was one for Windows. It used Windows.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a USB or something like that.
yeah.
A Picoscope?
No, no, no.
Picoscope, yeah.
Um,
Mm.
the software was a Windows only software, and it displayed the waveform and everything on the screen. It didn't have a
On the
screen.
screen. Yeah.
You're right. I do have that. Now, the question is, what box is that in? It's too much stuff. My the oscope that I bought from Micro Center is only 20 megahertz, which may be why they were getting clearance in them out, but I think I only paid $100 for it, so it was a pretty good deal. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it had a whole lot of the same features or anything um as some of the more expensive. Anybody got anything? Anything?
I have a 3D printed octopus.
Oh, nice.
Yellow on the bottom.
I like it. I like the little baby squid. This one, this is a pencil popper.
Okay.
Completely useless.
As most good things are.
As most good things are.
Dusty.
I I'm afraid that if one of the grandkids sees this, I'm going to have to print a bunch of these so that they have these on top of their pencils for school. It doesn't really fit on a mechanical pencil. That's so cute. Now, did you do that on your Persa?
No, I bought it.
You got one with the color changing? Hmm. Which one did you get? What printer did you get?
What?
What
And
printer?
then he bought the octopus.
Oh, you bought the
No,
octopus.
in Disney World, there were a box full of animals
Okay.
articulated, 3D printed.
So
They sell each one for $3, or you can buy 100 in AliExpress for $6 or so.
just multiply that by a few hundred and just buy yourself a printer and print your own.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is multicolor thing, you know.
Well, that's why I thought you were saying that you bought a multicolor printer. I'm still I'm considering uh upgrading my printer to maybe this.
That's
It
big.
it's
Dang.
big. It's every bit double the printer I have now.
Percent.
And it
And the speed.
well it's I think you're gonna have to mute again, Ray, or something. There's echo going on.
Sorry.
Sorry. It's the Cobra 3, but it's got like the large print bed on it, like the very large print bed. So it is a fast printer. Um reviews for it that I have seen have been generally favorable. Most people are saying, it's not, don't buy it if it's your first printer, which I would agree. You probably don't want to mess with this thing if I mean, but that would be the largest printer that I would have owned. I mean,
I think you should get it because I just measured a keyboard and keyboard is 14 and a half inches. So
oh, so
Can make a
you
case for
you
the
you're
keyboard.
think
yeah,
you're thinking that I would want to print a keyboard for certain people, huh?
I'll pay.
I'm just messing with. I am I'm considering. I've been considering it for probably the past 3 months. It's just, with getting the car fixed and getting paying off her student loan and everything, we gotta save some money back up to before I can play around with a $700 printer.
That's less than I paid for the Prusa that I've got.
It's about double what I paid for the Cobra 3 that I've got now, so but I think it's worth it. I think spending an extra $300 for the print bed size would just be worth it.
Yeah.
Um,
Can you put the link for this printer?
can I do what?
A link,
Oh, yeah.
the Micro Center link.
Gotcha. There you go.
I want to check the details. Thank you.
Um, Micro Center's picture is a little deceiving. They show two of the uh units that the color changing units. You only get one. If you
They have
want,
they have them in exhibition. You can see operation.
I don't know. I don't know if they've got one down there working or not, but you're only going to get one of the AMS units, not two. Um, you could get the second AMS unit, but it's going to cost you like 300 more bucks. Um, and for whatever reason, Micro Center has the wrong picture showing. But for $700, you're only getting one AMS unit. If you were getting two AMS units for $700, I would have already probably jumped on that. That would have been, oh, Micro Center screwed up. Yes, give it to me. Because I know the stupid AMS units are flipping expensive.
I like the new hot end for each color. It's pretty fast. It pick the hot end and use it and return and use another one. So
Okay.
you don't need to prime
Yeah.
the plastic or wait any time. It's really faster
And it
to
doesn't need to
change
wipe
color.
its nose.
But you
So
will spending a lot of energy maintaining all the hot ends on in working mode. But
the
this is,
It probably doesn't. It probably energizes it when it picks it up. There's no way they could move the wiring back and forth, though I guess they could keep the same connector on the other side.
I don't know. Maybe
maybe the tray that it's in, maybe
I
the
didn't check
maybe
it,
the
but
hot end.
there are pictures. I don't know if there are wires and the plastic
Yeah.
feeder, but then you won't need to wait for the heater to turn on. I don't know.
This here is This is another printer that I picked up at the same time that I got my Cobra 3. Um, Micro Center was clearancing these suckers out. I got this for $70, I think. But this uses HDMI cable to
Ooh,
connect to the hot
yeah.
end.
Well, looks that you won't see this brand the next week, the next year. I mean, you won't find spare parts for it. Then,
Yeah, it's just such a weird. I thought, the Cobra 3 uses USB-C, and I thought, what the heck are they doing there? Using HDMI for the hot end? Sitting there going, oh. I'm half tempted of hooking that printer, uh, getting that one out of the box and hooking it up. Um, it's got Octopi built into it.
Nice.
Yeah, I couldn't believe. I mean, after I read all the specs on it and everything, $70. I'm like, sure. Yeah, it's a printer I've never heard of. It's a brand that I've never heard of, but you can't buy the screen for $70. But I'm sitting there, I'm just sitting there going, why HDMI? Why are they using an HDMI cable for that? But I was thinking, where the tray is at, maybe the hot end has like connectors on it on the bottom. So when it shoves it back into the tray, it's getting power from the bottom. And when it shoves it into the um, gantry, it's getting power from the top to keep the hot end hot. That's just a thought. I don't know. Um,
They might also heat the tray that it sits it in just 50 degrees under normal
y-
head temp. That'd be decent.
yeah. Well,
Not,
it just needs to keep it hot enough to keep the stuff from oozing and um, you know, keep it liquid but keep it from oozing out.
yeah.
Um, the that FlashForge printer that I've got, it has two print heads in it, and when you use it, um, of course it's not changing the print heads, um, but it still has to go through and wipe the prints off. So there may still be some a wiping tower or something, even if you have a printer that can change the heads. Uh, But I could see where that would be an advantage.
I saw one machine, but it's a Kickstarter thing, you know. I
Yeah.
I need to figure out where I saw it. I think was in Instagram or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I forget where I saw that one.
Snap Maker is the brand, I think. Snap Maker.
Yeah. It seemed to me
Uh,
like it was more than what I would wanted to spend on a printer though.
yeah, it's very expensive. It's multi-material forehead.
Yeah, they've got a good idea. It's just I don't want to spend that much on a printer.
I don't see the wires.
I've got a
I,
nice printer. I don't need to
let me
spend that
show
much.
what I have. Yes, this is the machine,
Yeah.
but I don't see the. You see the plastic inlets, but I think they have each one a connector, you see,
Yeah.
electric connector,
Yep.
like they have power all the time.
And that looks like USB-C.
Mhm.
You look at the pictures on Kickstarter and you can see wiping towers. So they're still wiping even if they are changing. Should still be a lot less waste though.
Yeah, and fast impression, very faster,
Yeah. So, um,
really fast.
I guess the special is only $800. That's only $100 more than the one with the big print bed. I don't know. What I do know is Patty's bringing me food. So
I knew you would say that. Okay.
yeah, that's all I really know. So, we are in person next week,
Next week
and it's OSCOPE Day. So,
in
hope,
Westchester.
yep. Hopefully, I'll see everybody next week.
Bye. See you, everyone.
So long.
Bye.
Bye.